Kungaloosh and welcome. My name's Wes, and this is Addicted to Adventure, your base camp to explore the treasures and mysteries of the adventure genre. Today we're talking about Episode 4 of National Treasure Edge of History. As before, there will be spoilers, so you've been warned. We open with Jess, who is either unleashing the power of her fully armed and operational Rain Man powers, or she's tripping balls through something that's one step up from a Hieronymus Bosch painting. Or maybe both. Who knows, maybe someday we'll get to see the origin story of Jess, where she gets bitten by a radioactive Dustin Hoffman. Jess has been struggling with the Elvis Presley riddle for 3 whole days, and is both frustrated and paranoid. We cut to dumbass McSneakers, who is also working on the clue. I actually have to give him some credit here. He's trying to pull his share of the weight with the treasure hunt. Elsewhere, Riley Poole steps off a private jet as he talks on the phone to Ben Gates. Riley's in town attending Sadusky's wake. Nicolas Cage, unsurprisingly, can't make it. Liam invites Jess, Tasha, Oren, and Ethan to the wake. Ethan says he can't go because he's golfing with his new girlfriend. In New York City, Billy meets in a boardroom with an organization known as Crass Est Nostrum. The man at the head of the table criticizes Billy for nearly losing the obsidian relic to Jess.
The Pan American treasure isn't like the others. It's personal to you, and we understand. You lost your brother looking for it, and we're afraid it's affecting your judgment.
She tells off the group and plays the Elvis recording for them. Shortly after, Billy and her henchwoman Casey leave.
I wish I could have seen their faces when they heard Elvis's voice.
Oh yeah, it was a real TikTok moment.
We need to talk about the writing in this show. Some of it sounds like grandparents trying to use teenage slang, and it is painfully awkward. In the parking garage, Billy and Casey are stopped by one of the board members who demands the relics from Billy. His goons attack and Casey fights them off. I'm all for ass-kicking females, such as Our Lady of Perpetual Rating, peace be upon her. But this strains believability a little bit. Casey seems good-sized for a female, but she still beats the hell out of 2 armed henchmen like she's She-Hulk. It just is a little hard to swallow. Jess, Tasha, and Oren arrive at the wake and greet Liam.
Sorry for your loss.
Thanks. No, why do people always say sorry like it's their fault?
My favorite one was, at least your mom feels no more pain. She's in a better place now.
Oof, yeah. At my dad's funeral was a lot of, well, at least he died doing what he loved. I was 12.
But come on, even a 12-year-old knows that everything always happens for a reason.
Yeah, and time heals all wounds.
I'm letting my generation gap show here a little bit, but what the hell would you like him to say? Thanks for the free food and booze? In a previous episode, when Liam learns he's inheriting his grandpa's house, he complains that he feels like his grandpa's screwing him from the great beyond because it might take a little time to sell the house. You younger generation, man. To quote my grandpa, you people would bitch if you were hanged with a new rope. The group spots Riley Poole at the wake, and Oren runs back home to get his books for Riley to autograph. Riley approaches and introduces himself to Liam. Tasha asks Riley for his help with their treasure clue.
He's retired, Tasha.
No, not retired. Ben and I have been working on this super important thing for the last 15 years.
Is it another lost treasure?
Let's just say there's 47 reasons to be interested.
This is supposed to be a reference to page 47 from the President's Secret Book from the second movie. And I get that you're trying to tie the movies to the TV show, but this is really pretty stupid. The only people that are supposed to know about this are Riley, the Gates family, and the President. So why even mention it? This is just dumb writing for the sake of fan service.
Anyway, what's your clue? I would love to help out.
Riley tries to fumble his way through the riddle before being interrupted by Agent Hendricks. I can't decide if the writers don't understand Riley's character or if this is some attempt to kind of show him struggling to keep being a treasure hunter without Ben Gates' help. I'm not sure if I'm ready to give him that kind of credit, to be honest. Ben Gates in the movies is the one that does the majority of the deciphering of puzzles and things. Riley's really the tech guy. Still really smart, but a different skill set. Back at their apartment, dumbass McSneakers bumps into Weepy the White Knight, who lied about going golfing, but he apparently still got a hole-in-one. Agent Ross slips away from the wake to search Sadusky's library for clues about his death. She finds a plant with orange berries, English yew, and takes a sample as evidence. On her way out of the library, she runs into her boss, Agent Hendricks, who says he knows she went ahead with Sadusky's toxicology report and says he will support her as she investigates Sadusky's cause of death. Warren, Ethan, and Ethan's new girlfriend Mina arrive at the wake, where Ethan notices a man who looks like Jerry Garcia in a parked car across the street from Sadusky's house. This appears to be the same person in the same car that was following the group on their way to Graceland in the last episode. Riley enters Sadusky's library and stumbles upon the mechanism that opens the door to the secret room. Jess comes into the secret room looking for Liam and finds Riley. Riley spots the Ben Franklin glasses and picks them up, triggering a security system that seals the room and begins to pump out the air.
Enter passcode to cancel intruder lockdown.
Intruder lockdown.
That's not good.
Jess and Riley try to either deduce or discover Sadusky's secret passcode before they suffocate. Jess mentions that Sadusky suffered from dementia, so they assume he must have hidden his passcode somewhere in the room in case he forgot it. Seeing an FBI seal above the keypad, Jess speculates that it may serve as a hint. They begin to search for clues related to the FBI motto of fidelity, bravery, and integrity. They find the parts of the passcode related to fidelity and bravery, but struggle to find the one related to integrity. As the air runs increasingly low, they sit on the floor and try to solve the clue. This is the first time I've had an issue with the acting in this show. In this scene, Jess acts about as flat as plywood. She is supposed to be oxygen deprived, but instead she looks like she took a big rip from a bong. It's even more apparent because right next to her, Riley is very convincingly acting like he can't get enough air. Outside the room, the crew has figured out that something's wrong, and they try to open the door from the outside. Riley asks Jess how long they've been working on their treasure clue.
How long have you been trying to crack it?
Oh, for forever. 3 days.
3 days? Ben's family tried to crack the clue about the Charlotte for 3 generations.
I know I really hammer on having logical and satisfying solutions to these problems. I wasn't always like this. Crystal Skull did this to me. But I'm not really sure I like how they go about this escape room sequence. They are trying to work through the problem, and I give them credit for that. That is good. But some of the answers they come up with are kind of a reach. The problem with this, what makes this so difficult, is that if the clues they have to follow are too easy, then the answers come too quickly and it feels unsatisfying because it was unearned. But on the other hand, if the clues they have to follow are too difficult and they only solve them because the characters are geniuses, then it also feels unsatisfying because it requires leaps in logic that the audience can't follow. So there is kind of a middle ground they have to walk, and they're having trouble doing that here. This next scene is a good example of what I'm talking about.
So how'd Ben finally solve it?
He thought it was a woman. But when I started talking about the yacht that I was gonna buy after we found the treasure and what I was gonna name it, he realized that Charlotte was a ship.
See, that's a logical, understandable connection to make.
Of course. I've been assuming the twin-tongued serpent was Malinche, but there were other interpreters that were forced to help the colonizers. The twin-tongued serpent was Sacagawea.
For those of us that don't have Rain Man powers, that seems like you jumped from A to E. You need to connect more dots in between. Jess sees a picture of Benjamin Franklin's Join or Die political cartoon and reasons that the segmented snake refers to integrity.
These aren't the colonies. Henoeghti, what?
It's an anagram. I'm good at this. Okay. Hey, tin, ego.
Actually, your computer was good at that, not you.
AEFGLORVY.
Anagrams being listed. Okay. Top results. A glove fry, a very golf.
This is another reason why I question if the writers know what they're doing with Riley's character. They successfully discover the last part of the security code and manage to open the door just in time.
Intruder lockdown canceled.
Jess tells the rest of the team that she solved the Elvis clue.
Newfoundland isn't 3 words. It's 1. Newfoundland. That's the breed of the dog Lewis and Clark took on their expedition.
This is another leap. Show your work. How did you arrive at that? Most people consider this to refer to the Canadian province of Newfoundland, which could actually provide an interesting false lead for them to follow. An adventure should not be a straight line to the treasure.
Lewis and Clark. So you're saying it wasn't Malinche, it was Sacagawea.
Right.
Right, so she totally could have met a daughter of the Plume Serpent.
Exactly. Sacagawea was entrusted with a clue to the treasure, which she hid in one of the expedition's journals.
Right. That's so obvious now.
Is it?
I hate to be seen agreeing with dumbass McSneakers, but he's right on this one.
It seems like a reach.
And now I have to agree with Weepy the White Knight?
The twin-tongued serpent's tail is revealed in Fairweather. Merryweather Lewis. Merryweather.
Says here Meriwether Lewis was the governor of Louisiana, and the journal he dedicated to his dog
Is on display at the governor's mansion.
I'm going to make a prediction. We're going to have another heist to steal the journal from the governor's mansion. Something I actually said when I recorded my last episode, but it ended up on the cutting room floor, is that I hope the makers don't lose sight of the fact that National Treasure is supposed to be about a treasure hunt that happens to include a heist. It is not a heist show that happens to lead to treasure. Now I wish I'd kept that in. Anyway, the group, having survived their ordeal, reconvenes outside the Sadusky house.
How you feeling?
Alive.
I realized today my grandfather was right. There's no greater treasure than lost time. So I'm not going to waste any more.
What in the One Tree Hill is this book?
I get it now. Your besties into bad boys.
So, not into bad boys.
Nope, just good guys.
Did I accidentally change the channel to the CW? Riley returns to the airport and gets a call from Ben Gates. Immediately after, Riley calls Jess.
Riley.
Jess, hey, are you alone?
Yes.
Why?
Okay, listen. Someone else knows about your clue.
Who?
I'm not sure, but Ben's mom, Dr. Emily Gates, she was approached by someone who played her a recording of what sounded like Elvis.
That's impossible. No one knows about that recording except me and my friends.
Well, one of your friends may not be your friend.
And you just automatically assume it's Liam? Let's go through the possibilities. Yeah, one of your friends could be a mole. Your phones could be tapped. Sadusky's house could be bugged. It was under surveillance before. Billy could have an insider in Graceland and could have gotten it that way. Or she could have bribed someone at Graceland and got it. There's a lot of possibilities here. And we just jump right to suspecting Liam. There are a lot of things in this episode that I can't quite decide if I like or not. They are trying, and I will give them credit for that. I just wonder if maybe they're not very good at what they're trying to do. I realize I'm probably being more critical of this episode than most people would be. A lot of adventure shows require you to shut off your brain, just sit back and enjoy, and that's fine. It just seems like this one requires you to shut off your brain a little more than some of the other ones. They're trying really hard to connect this to the movie series, and it is cool to see Riley Poole back. There's a certain nostalgia there, but part of me can't help but wonder if this wouldn't have been better as its own standalone original adventure series. I can tell you I'm getting really tired of Jess's Rain Man superpowers. She is not a well-written character. She's utterly perfect. She doesn't have any faults, any vices, any shortcomings. This is all part of the modern writing trend where, in order to have a strong female character, they can have no flaws, which is not only stupid, it's painfully uninteresting. There is still some fun to be had here. And, you know, if at the worst case, if you were in bed with the flu, this would serve as entertainment just fine. I just, it's not great. It's not horrible, but it's not great. I haven't seen anything so far to make me want to raise or lower my grade, so I'm sticking with a C so far for this series. What do you think? Am I being too hard on this? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you like what I'm doing here, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. And until next time, fortune and glory, my friends.